Yes, good afternoon, everyone. Let me start saying that in the end of the day, I take responsibility for what happened here in our game, last home game against Atlanta. The reason I'm saying that was not the first time that happened, and every time that happened, we, of course, we identify, we take the measures, and we take the actions against those persons, but we didn't give the awareness that this kind of situation deserved. And this is my responsibility. It's not going to happen anymore. That's why we're here today. Of course that in the past it was situations happening here and there, and then the last home game it was more areas of the stadiums and more people involved. And then we thought that there was a moment to stop it, rethink the way we are managing this situation and make some changes. And those changes we're going to announce to all of you today. My feelings about what happened in that game, that it's not acceptable. It's something that we do not tolerate. One of the points of proud, not only for us as a club, but I believe from our fans, the entire community, our front office, is this stadium. We are very proud of this house, our home. And I was very, very sad, to say the minimum, to see our stadium turning into a trash can from our own fans. And honestly, I don't want to see those situations happen again. I understand the frustration sometimes when situations happen with the referee, or if you're not performing in a way that our fans deserved. And the fans, when they come here to support, their voice are more than welcome. They can go out there and show their frustration against the team or even to the referee, but you cannot throw things on the field. And this is something that there's nothing, absolutely nothing, that could happen in a soccer game that justify this kind of attitude. Right? So, having said that, I just want to point out here that the passion that our fans have into the game of soccer and with us as a club, it's the most important pillar for us as a club. We love that passion. We want that passion to help, and I think it's helping. The fact that when 1/3 of the competition finished, and we are still sitting on the playoff zone, and the fact that we win more than lose games here in the stadium is because of the help that the fans give to our players. It's about their passion. But what happened in our last home game and that situation, it's absolutely different than passion. So I want them to come. We appreciate their love and passion to the club, and I hope they will come back here next Saturday to support our club and continue to support our team.
Sure. We'll start out with, I just want to kind of back things up and kind of start from the beginning on our end. When we did our review, the first thing we determined was it wasn't warranted to provide any or issue any sanctions to our recognized supporter clubs. This was a much bigger issue that we had to address. The proper approach was focusing on individuals that participated in this incident. After carefully reviewing the video and other resources available to us, we were able to identify 38 individuals that partook in this incident, and they'll be receiving suspensions that would start at 1 year and would go up to 2 years based on their level of involvement. I would like to note that this 1 to 2 year response is standard for us at Orlando City Stadium. We've had this in place ever since we've opened up our doors. While we started getting near the end of identifying these individuals, we started having discussions of what improvements can we make to enhance our game day experience, and also help to deter incidents like this from happening in the future. What I'd like to do is I'm going to go through these 4, and I'm going to read them out just so we're all clear and on the same page. I'll start out with number 1. If a fan throws an object on the field again, we'll be having the PA announcer announce with immediate statement to caution fans of ramifications of these actions. A graphic will also be posted on the video board, reminding them of the ramifications of such behavior. That'll be one of our initial responses that we'll put in place. Number two, we will create a fan code of conduct video that will involve our players, that will engage our fans to let them know that, hey, the field is, it's our holy ground. You know, it's a sanctuary here. Let's all respect it, keep the passion, but let's not disrespect the field. Number three, the stadium will transition to an all-pour venue. What does this mean? It means every drink is poured into a cup without a lid, and no beer bottles or cans can be sold or distributed within the stadium. Suites may have cans, but the cans cannot leave the suites. And lastly, we will add more cameras to the inner bowl of our stadium to ensure we have 360 views at all times. Now, I'm sure some of you have questions of, okay, well, when are all these going to be implemented? All these we're going to evaluate that, and we're going to implement them at the right time. Some of these improvements require more coordination between ourselves and third parties. So, for example, the PA announcements, those can happen this weekend. But going all pour, adding cameras, those take a little more time so we can make sure that this gets implemented successfully. To conclude, I feel like all of these, working with Alex and our team, that all of these improvements are really going to enhance our game day experience and continue to make it a safe and fun environment that we're all used to having. Thank you. Yes, no, I mean, they're part of our core group, right? Like, they understand what's going on. They know that this type of behavior isn't acceptable, and we have been and we'll continue to work with them to ensure that items like stuff like this doesn't happen again. Out of the 38, the ones that you've seen announced, I believe it was anywhere from 14 total. Not all of them were related to this cup incident, but all of those people are included in the 38 total. Because we're still continuing to review video. If more people are identified, then we'll add to that. And once someone, let's say they do their 1 year, there's always a reinstatement process with every incident of inappropriate behavior. They'll serve their suspension, and then they'll be notified upon their suspension of how they can come back.
Yes, that's the idea. It's going to be a rules for the stadium. So no matter if it's the MLS and the WSL game, we're going to act the same way. Well, we saw that. I mean, you didn't see, but we got that information. So what you do, we are continually making maintenance on the building, and this is part of this process. We're going to continue to do it. So every time that we had any information related to anything that we need to be done in the stadium, we address that. So the leaks will be addressed. I don't have the statistics or information regarding what happens in the other buildings, but I know that even with the new ones, after 1 year, you see some points that you need to go and fix it, and this is one of those points. And of course, every time that we have that information, we go, we check, and then we work on it. No, I didn't hear anything from them on that end. Not feeling safe, not from the players, not from any fan, not from the referees. This is an unpleasant situation that happened, and honestly, this is a lot about the soccer, because that's create a big frustration, because those situations that the fans feels that was against their own team could in the end of the day cause the loss of the game. It's different than any other sports, and in 1 point doesn't make all the difference. But in our case, 1 penalty or 1 goal makes all the difference in the world. So that's generated a lot of frustration. That's why that kind of situation happened, and we have to address it. But I don't hear from anyone, I didn't hear from anyone, any kind of feeling of unsafe. This is a good question. First of all, I want to say that what those guys did in the last week was phenomenal. We're not guessing. So we are absolutely 100% sure from different cameras and sources. So we're being very fair with all of them. So it's about, of course, giving them the sanctions, but as well educational process for them. So it's going to be a conversation with them, but we will moving forward what we decided should be the sanctions. We are in constant conversation with the league, but everything that we're doing here it was a club decision. So the league was not part of the, I mean, we talked, we discussed with the board, but that was not a league asking us to do this. It's the club that took the decision and understood that it's the moment to do that.
Because it'll start once, we'll backdate it, but we will, let's say somebody gets notified later because it takes a little longer to identify them. It'll take effect when they receive it, when they receive that letter. And we know that they received that letter, so we can show that, hey, this showed up at this date. So there is a pathway to where we know that they know. So if they show up and act like they don't know, then, we can counter with that.